Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is episode 27 of Flippin Tin. As always, I'm Jake.
And I'm Gabe.
And Sky is late because of work, and that is okay. We're going to hold down the fort in the meantime. But of course, this is Flippin Tin, episode 27. It feels like we've been doing this a lot longer in 27 episodes, but at the same time, I'm like, damn, 27 episodes.
I feel like I've been doing it longer than I have. I keep thinking, I'm like, that's just because I was a guest on a few of them.
Yeah.
I was thinking back, I was like, how many episodes have we done now?
Yeah, you've done all of them since the start of the year. So probably 5, 6 that you've been an official host on. Yeah, it's been good. It's been fun. Our schedules got a little mixed up because of something that I can't remember.
I don't remember what it was.
I think I was out of town. Oh, that's right. It's because me and you went to Jack's.
Because we went to Jack's.
Yep. Yeah. Me and Gabe went to Jack's place not last weekend, the weekend before. And I had to kick back. I had to kick back THP. So we vouched to do THP last week and then push Flippin Tin to this week. So it's been a few weeks. But we're back and excited to record. Today we'll be joined by Mr. Nate Truax. We're going to be talking about his recent trips to Costa Rica and Colombia and be talking about some of the stuff that, planning a trip like that and so on and so forth. He was having a couple technical issues, so he jumped out. He'll be back in here in a minute. And Sky will be on when he can. But in the meantime, Gabe, why don't you start us off about our recent trip to the Great White North?
Yeah, man. So we went up to see our buddy Jack over at Beyond the Terrarium, and Jackie Boy put us on some queen snakes, man. I mean, within the first 10 minutes of us getting to the first spot, we walked in, and what we found, I rolled a log and found a spotted salamander.
That was awesome,
dude.
That was a lifer for everybody.
I feel so sad that I had to go upstate to find my lifer when I know they're around me, but honestly, I kind of lack on looking for salamanders. Snakes are my focus, so it was nice to casually find one and mark it off the list.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jack put us on it, man. We got out there, we found that. Shortly after, we hiked up a box turtle, and then I spotted a black rat snake, which was surprisingly dark for the size of it.
Yeah, but also, I want to take a second and amend you for that. The spot of that, dude. How you saw that, because mind you, this wasn't it was in the road type of deal. Me and Jack are way in front of Gabe because our other buddy Zach Holland was there, and they also had a local friend of theirs that's neighbors with Jack there, whose name is escaping me.
Sam,
yes.
Yep, Sam.
And me and Jack were a little bit farther ahead, and we just hear them yelling snake. So we turn around and go back. There's this little black rat. I say little. He was what? 2 feet?
Foot, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
A little over a foot, probably under 2. And he was on this very small tree along a limb and kind of hanging off. And this wasn't right off the path. This was probably what?
It's probably 30
feet off the walking trail?
Off the trail into the woods.
I have no idea how you saw that thing, dude.
I literally just scanned my head around. I just looked over like that, and I just happened to catch the last 6 inches of tail hanging down from a limb. And it was kind of wet that day. It just rained, and it was shiny. And I was like, why is that little limb so shiny? And then I was like, oh, that's a rat snake.
Let me see if I can pull up a picture real quick just to show them. But like that was definitely the best spot of the day, dude. Like the fact that you saw that freaking thing was just nuts. Like it was very, very impressive.
It
And
was really cool getting
I'm
to see
very
it.
glad you did, because that was, even though I didn't spot it, I'm still gonna count it. That was a lifer black rat in South Carolina for me.
And I was
Um,
surprised how dark it already was for only being probably 20 inches.
yeah, it
It was
was.
already on pretty much solid black.
Yeah, I'm about to. I got a picture here. I'm gonna pull up. I'm too
But
scatterbrained
dude,
here.
looking at them in situ like that in the tree, it's just
Yeah, this was awesome, and I really like this picture I got of it. Let's zoom in a little bit. Can you see that? All right.
yeah.
This is exactly how it was sitting in the tree. You can kind of see the tail down the back here coming down, and I think that's the spotted salamander.
It was good size
Um,
too. The spotted was.
That's how it was sitting in the tree. And Gabe saw that from 30 feet away on a walking trail.
I just saw that
Like,
like tail crook down and the tail was hanging down. And I just saw
yeah,
that little like last, not quite third of the body hanging down, was like, oh, that's a snake tail.
yeah. This was honestly like the way Jack spoke about it. This was like, even though it's not necessarily their uncommon there, this was kind of one of those I was more hopeful for versus like thinking we were going to get one. So you spotting that definitely made the trip for me. So
Well,
that
you
was
spotting
awesome.
the first queen snake definitely made the trip.
Well, that technically wasn't the first queen snake.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Jack actually. So if you know me and Gabe, we are, if the group finds it, we'll count it as a lifer, but we're also people that like want to spot it ourselves type of thing.
I
So,
have to be within eyesight as you're looking at the snake, or I won't count it. Like I don't count
oh,
that
really?
case that Jack found.
Oh, yeah. The decays was different because he walked it over to you.
Yeah, that
Like,
asshole walks up to me and hands up, walks up to me, opens his hands and goes, "Hey, Gabe, look what I found." And I was just like, "Put it back. I don't want to see it." Like,
you
fuck
piece of
off.
shit. It's different for me with the black rat snake. Like, yeah, you spotted it while me and Jack were still far away.
Yeah, but it was in
But
situ. Like
yeah, it was
I
still
said, "Hey
sitting
guys,
where it was
don't walk
found.
up here. It's over here. Look."
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you still had
exactly.
to spot it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first queen snake we found of the day. So this was honestly the main target of the trip for me and Gabe was to get queens because we don't really get them by us at all. So we went up there specifically to find queens. Jack had a very good spot for queens, and sure enough, me and Jack were over in one spot flipping a bunch of rocks, and Jack flipped a little itty bitty tiny queen snake. And then Gabe was like, if we don't find another one, I'll count it, but I don't love it. And I was like, yeah, I don't either. Um, so me and Gabe were walking this a ditch. Yeah, it was a ditch.
It was literally like a drainage, like a little
Yeah.
seepage ditch that went down to the creek.
Yeah. And I'm walking, I'm already soaking wet. I was wearing my Hey Dudes and I was planning on getting wet. So I was just walking through the ditch and we're walking through this area and literally simultaneously, like we both went, like I saw it and, jumped for it and grabbed it first. But me and Gabe simultaneously went snake and saw it move through. Look, it was under the water moving, and I ran over and grabbed it. So that was a pretty cool moment for us to kind of get that lifer simultaneously and actually be the ones to spot it. And
Well,
we were kind of by ourselves too. Everybody
well,
else was around somewhere else.
I will say I did redeem myself though, spotting that mating pair and the
That
branch
was
of the water.
cool. That
Like
was really cool.
I was so happy to see that because I was like, I spotted this first. I can count these,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Yeah, no, that was really cool. I was during that I was still angry about missing the Midlands
but you
that we
got to
saw.
see them.
I did. So like I'm still counting them as lifers. So for the state list, because again, like black rats and midlands, I found before, but I needed them in South Carolina. So these were state lifers for me. And the Midlands, unfortunately, I never got my hands on, but I took a header into the river after some.
Yeah, I
And
thought he had it too.
I don't know, dude. I don't know what happened. Like
I
I
don't know how
jumped.
you missed it.
It was I didn't jump like head first. I just kind of jumped body first because I made sure my feet didn't land.
Have you
And
guys ever
scared.
seen how, like, when a cat jumps, it kind of sticks its feet
Yeah.
out like that and kind of like freezes midair in that posture? That's kind of how Jake
Yeah,
jumped
it
into
was
the
like
river.
I jumped forward and just kind of froze midair and I went for the grab. I didn't even touch it, dude. Like I don't know how I missed it. It was a
Dude,
perfect jump, perfect
watching
timing.
watching from the bank, the snakes here, your hands like right here, like you missed it by like an inch or two.
I don't know how because
I
like
don't either.
the only reason I jumped was because I was 100% sure I was going to catch it.
I thought
Like,
I would have lost money on that bet. I would have been like,
yeah,
Jake got it. Yeah.
I would have too. Like, I don't know how I didn't. Like, cause like me, like I'm not afraid to jump into some water, but if I'm gonna get in, like I better be damn sure I'm gonna get it. And it was funny because I was on this bank and Zach was he walked along a log and he ended up pushing them both towards me. And I'm on this bank, like waiting for my opportunity. And I'm like getting ready, kind of calculating if I want to go. And I think it was you, Gabe. I just heard somebody behind me go jump, and I jumped like,
I
straight
think
into
he
the
was literally
water.
trying to swim under the log, and I was like, "It's right there, Jake. Jump!"
And
And Jake
I
just,
jumped.
"Ow!"
I got up, and I fortunately I gave all my stuff to Jack preemptively, so I didn't like get my phone soaking wet or anything. But I jumped in the water. I missed the snake, and then like I think it was Gabe or Jack, and y'all were like, "I didn't think you'd be that committed. I'm surprised you actually went into the water." I was like, "Bro, I'm
I
not
think
messing
that
around
was
for
Jack.
this." Yeah,
Oh,
I was pissed, dude. Oh my god.
but dude, we found a bunch of cool stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
dude, the river cooter you found was one of the prettiest river
Oh my
cooters I've
god.
ever seen.
It was also the biggest.
It
Holy
was
shit.
massive.
This thing was freaking huge.
I mean,
So
Jake literally could have used this thing's shell as like breastplate armor. It was that big.
yeah, this was like it was so funny because this was right before we found the queens, and we were walking along this ditch, and I swear, like I I was walking and I saw what looked like Bowser just walking down the freaking ditch. And I was like, holy shit, there's a turtle and it's huge. And everybody ran over. Jack was like, oh my God. Like,
Like, and what's crazy is you can tell how it's old and it's been through a lot of shit because
yeah,
on the back of can you zoom in on the back of the shell? You see the malformation on the back? That's old
right here.
damage. And on that same side, it was missing its
Yeah.
foot.
It was missing
So,
it. It was missing most of its leg.
yeah. So, what we think happened, what Jack thinks happened, which makes sense because there's no alligators that far up in the state. So, what Jack thinks happened is a massive common snapping turtle just took a bite out of that thing.
Yeah. Just
And it
that,
makes
that
sense if you look at the wound.
that was it sitting in the ditch, just huge. And we think it went up in that ditch to go lay eggs somewhere.
It was definitely a big female.
Yeah, that's Jack holding it right there.
If you look closely, you can see Jack's boner.
Yeah, exactly. He was real happy with that. I was too, man. Like I was ecstatic.
Honestly, that river cooter was like one of my top finds. Like that thing was so cool.
Yeah, that was very cool. I was super happy to come across that one. So, but overall, it was a great trip for state lifers. I crossed off as far as snakes go, black rats, Midland / northern waters, and Queens. So those were 3 off the docket. Gabe obviously did not get his lifer decays
Hey,
yet.
but I got my life.
You got the hold one.
And I got my lifer spotted salamander, and
That was
I
cool.
found my lifer American toad. And I know
Yeah, we got American toad.
but you have to understand that in South Carolina, American toads are only in like the upper Piedmont, in like very top up into the Blue Ridge.
Sorry, Sky, I didn't see you in there, man.
I've been fucking in the fucking backstage for like 3 fucking minutes now.
I'm sorry. I was on the photos page and I didn't see
this
what was
fucking
going
turtle
on.
looked awesome.
Yeah, dude, thing's freaking huge.
I whipped out my magnifying glass really quick. Jack's boner looks sick.
But yeah, we had a great time. We found the river cooter, saw some other sliders, saw some some hybrids. Yeah, we saw a big common snapper in a pond. Got midlands, black rat, found a couple garters, a lot of queen snakes. We actually saw like 8, was it like 8 queens altogether?
Yeah, oh yeah, at least.
Yeah, we didn't catch all of them, obviously. A lot of them were overhanging water and all that. But overall, it was a great time. And obviously had a lot of fun with Jack.
It's crazy.
Where was that at again?
What?
Rock Hill.
Where was that at again?
Rock Hill up in Jack's house. We stayed at Jack's house for the night.
Okay.
It's crazy how similar those queens look to our glossy crayfish down here, because
they're just big glossies.
They're just big glossies.
I'm glad you say that, because you remember on the Francis Marion trip when it was the day that me and Preston pulled up, and I was like, I'm pretty sure we just found a DOR queen snake.
Yeah.
Like, wow, there's no queen snakes.
There's no queens.
Well, it looks just like a fucking queen snake to me. So
yep.
Thank you for the confirmation, asshole.
Well, you know, they fill the same niche, right? They're both the like small crayfish eating snakes.
And they're related.
Like just like a range thing. It's probably, they're not very far. Obviously, they're different, but it's they just fill the same niche, like you said, just fucking different habitat.
Are they not in the same genus?
I should know this, but
I thought they were in the same genus.
You know what?
Just that would make me feel a lot better.
Out of misinformation, I'm gonna pull out the Google machines.
Yeah, look it up, because I don't want to.
And I feel ashamed that I don't know this.
I feel like we talked about this and they were, but I cannot remember.
I mean, it's probably one of those things where it comes down to like scale counts and shit like that. It's like some subtle differences because they look so similar.
They are. They're both Regina. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So they are. They're in the they're in the same genus. Yeah.
I do want to show the spotted salamander we found.
That thing's a tank, bro. That's
awesome. It was huge, dude. That's Gabe's hand. Granted, he has small baby hands. No.
Is that so? Would that be a female since it's so big, or no?
I don't know.
Smitty would know.
Smitty can tell you right now. He'd look at it on the picture, and be like, "Yeah, it's a female."
That's a female.
I don't know what it is, man. It was my lifer spotted salamander. That's what it was.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. Can y'all hear me good? I think I got my mic plugged in this time.
Yeah, you're good.
That thing was probably 5 inches long.
It was big, dude.
That thing's massive.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's a giant. I also want to pull up a pygmy that me and Gabe found while I was in his area.
Hands down, that might be the prettiest pygmy I've seen this year. And the pictures don't do it justice, because where it looks gray in this photo was legit almost light purple.
Yeah,
like
it was that powder. It was that powder blue kind of look to it.
Yeah,
and just this thing was awesome, dude. Like,
that was when you guys sent that picture, I was like, oh.
I found one yesterday, Jake, that was I sent you guys the picture next to the hook, right?
Yeah, that thing was
a foot long.
I think it was a fucking beef bus, dude.
It was massive.
You and these beef buses, I swear, you must be a big back certified clapper.
No, I just like the term beef bus.
Now that pygmy and the one you just sent like 2 nights ago, oh my god.
Yeah.
That one you just sent 2 nights ago, bro, I would do horrible things to humans for.
Listen, man, honestly, like, dude, this year might go down as one of my best pygmy years.
This year might go down as one of your best years, period.
No, legit.
Look
I
at
also
that
got
sexy
this cool
picture.
picture. I also got this cool picture of Gabe. Why the fuck is not? Why isn't this coming out? There we go. I thought that was a pretty dope picture. If I do say so myself.
Yeah, the only lame part is you aren't behind him hunching him.
But yeah, so how the trip actually happened, dude, me and Gabe, oh God, we went through it Friday night / Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Like, so I went to Gabe's house Friday after work. Gabe, obviously, y'all probably know at this point, Gabe does not live too far from me. I can be at his house with no traffic and right at or less than 2 hours. With traffic, it can push like 2:15, 2.5 at most. So I went to his place Friday night or Friday after work, and we hit the road almost immediately. Found what, 6 pygmies? I think it was.
I think it was 5 or 6. I know it was 5 or 6 pygmies somewhere around
Yeah.
there. I'd have to look back at photos.
We found 6 pygmies, a copperhead, a cottonmouth, and I think that was it because all we found was venomous. And then so we had a good time doing that. And then but Gabe's family was having a little party for his sister's birthday next door. So we went over there, whooped some ass in cornhole, whatever.
Yeah, we did.
And we didn't go to bed until, we didn't lay down until past midnight.
Oh, I think I went to sleep at almost 2.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I didn't fall asleep till like 2:00 because I couldn't get comfortable. Your dog was trying to cuddle up on me, and it was
he just loves the company so much,
Dude, yeah, he was all about it. He hopped right up in the couch with me and slept.
He's a cuddle bug, man.
So I think we didn't fall asleep till probably 2 a.m. and we woke up at 5 and we're on the road by 5:15, 5:20 ish. And then it was a 3-hour ride to Jack's, herped all day. By the end of it, Gabe was falling asleep on Jack's couch, and I had to wake his ass up to go to bed. And then me, Jack, and Zach stayed out in the living room while Gabe pussied out.
Man, I was so tired.
Dude, I think we stayed out there till like 12:31.
No, because I went to bed at almost 12 when I started passing.
Oh, if it was almost 12, then it was like a solid 1:30 by the time we went to bed.
Yeah.
So me and Gabe were rocking on like 3 hours of sleep and herped all day, and it was.
Hey, we got it done though, man.
We did. We made it happen. It was a good time. Really, really enjoyed it. Glad we made it happen. I've been talking about going to Jack's place for years now. His collection is fantastic. We got to see Kevin. If you don't know who Kevin is, you just need to know. So his collection's awesome. He's got awesome enclosures, a lot of turtles, and just an overall good time, man. It was a hard trip, and then Sunday wasn't really good for herping. It was a little cooler, expecting some weather in certain areas. So me, Jack, Gabe, and Abby, Jack's girlfriend, ended up going to the Riverbank Zoo in Columbia and spent the day over there Sunday, and then me and Gabe headed back.
I will say the new reptile house and aquarium house.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man.
Dude, that was awesome.
Did you notice how they I know, I'm sorry, Zach. I was crashing. Zach tried to cuddle me in the middle of the night, and I think I kind of popped awake and was like, and I like half-ass remember it, and I like passed back out. Like Zach could have done ungodly things to me in my sleep, and I would not have known it.
This guy knows how that is, sharing a bed with me.
I had a fun time with Jack on the air mattress too, man. So
test the bouncing quality of it.
I
did you test out the bouncing quality of that air mattress with Zach?
Yeah.
With Jack?
We had to inflate it a few times.
That was so funny, dude, because there was like 3 people on the air mattress. Jack and maybe Zach were sharing the air mattress, and Sky just hops in on Jack.
It was Preston, I think, at one point too, because there's
There
a picture
was-
of all three of us on the bed.
There was a lot of people on that air mattress at one point. That was.
Yeah,
I bet Preston's a good cuddler.
Yeah. Just far squat. That's the only bad part.
Oh man, it was funny.
I've never had so many laugh attacks that night, bro.
Dude, at one point I was like crying, sweating, laughing.
Oh, I was crying multiple times. It was hurting. I was having like a cramp at the end of it, and I was like, "Stop! Just stop making me laugh, please."
Everybody
It
stop,
hurts.
please.
Yeah.
Hey, you boys ready for Daytona?
Oh God!
I literally thought about it every day for the past month.
I'm like, I'm gonna burn all of my leave this year. Like, I'm getting back from my trip, and it's gonna be like, bam, Daytona, and then I've got a wedding like 2 months later. I hope I don't get sick this year.
You don't get sick leave separate?
No, man, my county's cheap.
Eat that elderberry.
Berkeley County's cheap.
Elderberry and pine tea, boy. Eat the pine.
That's right.
That was the best thing Beaufort County ever did, was separating our personal leave from our sick leave.
Sounds to me like I need to move out your way, Jake.
I've been trying to tell you.
Transfer, you know.
Yeah, I might be having to move out to the Carolinas here in a few
benefits.
years, man.
Come on, man.
I need to get next to the boys. This is retarded.
You gotta come on up, man.
Like, I feel like where I live is almost perfect, because like I can literally be in Florida in 2.5 hours. Not to you, Sky, but I can get in Jacksonville in 2.5 hours. Like,
yeah, it's like, yeah, I can get to Georgia in like 2 hours.
I can get to Georgia in about roughly 2.5 hours, or I can be in North Carolina in about 2 hours, 2.5. So I'm dead center.
Me and my chick talked about either like the Carolinas or somewhere in SoCal or like Colorado. So I mean, realistically, the Carolinas sound like the best. I mean,
obviously you're gonna get South Carolina voted for me and Gabe. So
not only would it be better because it's just like easier, and then there's more people that we know on this side of the coast, but like it would be so much nicer to actually have the whole gang in one spot.
Yeah,
close enough to drive on a regular basis to see each other.
I'm excited about Jackie Boy being close to my house this fall.
All right, well then I'm coming to the Carolinas, Zach, because we're making a baby.
Oh yeah, come on back, Zach. We miss you.
Yeah, no shit. That terrain though, it's just it's reminiscent of Florida. And then it also has like the hillies, and you can get to the mountains pretty quick. And
that was the first thing Preston said when he was down here almost 2 months ago. I showed him around some spots, and he was like, "Man, this area reminds me so much of Florida." And I was like, "Yeah, that's what I keep saying. Like, our county is like the Florida of South Carolina."
When we were in Marion and around Marion, that shit was so much like Florida. Just like, I mean, I could take you to a pine forest that we could probably take pictures and be like, damn, which one's which, you know?
Dude, the Francis Marion is straight up like North Florida, and the Francis Marion, very similar.
100%. Yeah.
More Diamondbacks in North Florida, but you know.
Yeah, there's that.
I like the territory. It's more it's just boring here after a while, territory wise.
Yeah,
it's nice, but it'll be houses in 5 years. So the good parts are seldom at this point.
For sure.
I just went to fucking the Glades for a rocket run this weekend, bro. And I've heard about the Florida drought because like all the herpers in Central Florida are just talking about how like the drought is evident. And the drought is evident, boys. The fucking Glades look like a desert. I've seen a couple of videos and heard people talking about it, bro. Seeing it with my own 2 eyes was fucking.
Well, they say that that's an indication that typically it's going to be a bad hurricane year.
Yeah, well, it's the apparent. Everyone down there is saying that's the worst it's been in 25 years. I mean, like I've never seen. I saw 50 gators. We counted 50 gators in like a fucking 20-foot puddle.
Jesus.
And big boys, like everyone was just stacked on top of each other. It was crazy.
We just finally got a bunch of rain here the last couple of weeks. Like prior to the last 2 weeks, everything was dry as hell here. And we finally like have been getting those summer rains or late spring, early summer rains for the last 2 weeks. Like the ditches are full, the frogs are. I mean, I sent you guys the video of all the frogs breeding in the oak toads. Like,
yeah,
dude, it's like we got rain and it was like life just.
Yeah,
we've gotten a couple light ones. We need some heavy shit
for sure. Well, before we get too deep into this, let's get Nate on here and kind of introduce him and get into this episode a little bit. So, Nate, how's it going, man?
So far so good. Finally got the tech issue figured out, so that's good.
Yeah, unfortunately, what are you using for audio? Because you're real cracky.
I might have to check out the mic because sometimes this mic can be a little finicky.
Yeah, I would try and just use your computer mic if you can, because we're getting a ton of feedback from that.
All right, let me go ahead and.
Sorry, everybody. We had some technical difficulties before with Nate hearing us. Oh, and there he goes. We had some issues with Nate hearing us earlier, and now I guess I probably should have checked earlier to see if his audio was good. He can hear us, but now his audio is coming through.
Sounds just like the mics are playing off of each other.
Yeah, I don't know. Like you said, that his mic can give some issues sometimes. So hopefully you can get that sorted. But yeah, glad to be back for another episode. I feel like it's been too long. Oh,
how long has it been? Has it been 3 weeks?
Yeah, we moved a week because I pushed THP back the last time we were supposed to do it.
That's right, y'all. It's all Jake's fault.
Yeah, it's yeah, but I'm also the one that plays, so you guys can also suck my dick.
No one heard what you said, so.
What's that?
Exactly.
All right, let's see.
All right. Am I coming through clear now?
Yeah, much better.
Way better.
All right. Man, this might be the worst investment I've ever made. I swear, it's ruined the audio on at least one, maybe two Croccast episodes. So.
Do you have a like a soundboard type thing, or do you just go right into the computer?
Right into the computer.
Try if you can get a little mixing board. I don't know what kind mine is. It's a Behringer, but that helps with the quality a lot. So that might be something to look into.
Okay. Yeah, I just plug it into my laptop, straight in the back hole, like just the way this dirty girl likes it.
Just the way Sky prefers.
Raw.
Well, welcome, Nate. Thank you very much for joining us tonight. How's it going, man?
So far, so good. Like I said, finally got this tech issue figured out, which is very nice. But
yeah, no, it's coming through just fine now. We don't have any issues. So Nate, if you could give us a little background on yourself, how you got into field herping and so on and so forth.
Well, like the name tag says, my name is Nate. In case you don't know who I am, I'm the guy who's trying and failing and making jokes in the live chat every episode. But yeah, I born and raised in North Central Ohio. Been here for over a quarter century, so just growing up, I just remember as a little kid, popped down at my grandparents' place, turned on the Animal Planet, sing Steve Irwin, and just like that, I was hooked. And I don't know how old you guys are. I might be the youngest in this group. I don't know.
How old are you?
27.
Yeah, you're the youngest in this group.
Which is ironic, considering on the Columbia trip I went on, I was the dinosaur of the group. So. But yeah, growing up, just herps, dinosaurs, all that stuff. Went to Bob Jones University, Greenville, South Carolina, for a few years.
Oh,
Had to leave early. had to leave early for several reasons. That really turned me off of living in the Carolinas. But then again, it's Bob Jones, so chalk that up for what it's
I was
worth.
about to say, I don't think Bob Jones would have helped you very much on that aspect.
Yeah, or Greenville, but I digress. But yeah, I went there primarily because one of the professors there had a Serpentarium collection, so that's where I got my first like professional hands-on reptile work experience. Then I did a couple reptile internships down in East Texas at Gator Country, and most importantly, Crocodile Encounter, which is an actual zoo, like an AZA affiliated zoo.
Nice.
I'm actually going to be going there on June 7th for Croc Fest. So this year they're going to be doing raising funds for the conservation research of Temistoma this year at Croc Fest. And I'll be actually live streaming from that. I might have to get a soundboard before I do that, but yeah, that's also day after for the morning. Might do a little rocket run of herping in the Houston area. So I have some experience herping in East Texas and of course up around here. In high school, one of my high school teachers did like a vernal pool section for my Bio 2 class. So we went out in field and like field collected salamanders and fairy shrimp and wood frogs and all that stuff. So that was pretty cool. That was my first real amphibian hook, which nowadays I can't seem to find anything but amphibians. Well, other than decay snakes, but everyone finds decay snakes, right?
Except
I can
Tuck
only
it, Gabe.
I can only dream.
what was the decays you guys got a picture of then?
That was the one Jack found. It was like, Gabe, look what I found, you piece of shit. Like,
No, Jack literally like ran off for 30 minutes, came back with his hands like this, walks up to me and goes, "Hey, Gabe, look." Bloop.
So, what, that doesn't count as you having one too, since you guys were.
No, he
Gabe,
ran off for 30 minutes and came back with one in his hands. I wasn't even around for it.
Gabe's a picky fuck when it comes to
damn right
the
I am.
lifers.
Well, I know. I mean, I feel you with that because
I can respect it.
You guys were trying to tell me I could count seeing a coach whip this year when I fucking saw a freshly killed one. Like,
I never told you that.
I did not see anything of the sort. Don't you drag me into that.
Who was
I'm not like this. Our
Preston?
dirty cheaters in our group.
Jack? Someone said
if it was freshly hit, it'd be
no,
one
it was literally
thing.
freshly squished under a flip.
Oh, it's one thing. Oh yeah, no, that
Like literally, I picked it up and I was like, "Oh, that fresh blood just still gushing out of it."
Ugh.
Like it probably got squished 30 minutes to an hour before we got to it.
It's one thing if it was like clipped by a car, but it was still active and striking and trying to bite and shit. That might be one thing because that might survive. But if it's like obviously squished and bleeding, that's
that doesn't. I saw it ghost.
That's not pleasant. That's horrible. But you redeemed yourself.
Yeah.
Shortly after with a badass find.
I'm pretty sure that was a female, man. That thing looked like it just laid eggs.
Okay, Smitty. I'm just kidding.
Its whole back half was totally fucking like, and it had a whole lateral.
What was that sound again?
At least you caught yours. Fucking
and I didn't need anybody's help of my own, and that goes down as one of my best catches.
Well, you're in a lot better shape than Jake. You don't have to worry about running too fast and having your kidney give out.
Yeah, true. That was that one impressed my old lady, so that's what that one made cool for me because
Gabe,
like, how did that even happen?
You're a bitch. All right, that's not how that works. Okay,
I'm just glad I was able to show you, Jack, and Smitty up like fucking 2 weeks after.
Okay, let's get one thing clear. I did not get a chance to grab the coach whip that we found. Okay?
I want to say I wouldn't have missed it.
I know you wouldn't have. My first thought was whenever it disappeared, my first thought was if Gabe or Sky was here, we would have caught this thing.
Oh yeah, y'all know. Yeah, you already fucking know.
Like,
put that on God, baby.
Oh yeah.
Dab me the fuck up, Gabe. What the fuck?
The fact that I didn't even get a chance at it makes me horribly sad. So I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Anyways, back to our guest.
Sorry, Nate.
I've been used to it for the past half hour already, so.
Sorry, we hadn't talked in a while. We had a lot of catching up to do. But thank you for patiently waiting on us.
Yeah, my
But-
girlfriend has a lot to talk about when I don't talk to her for 20 minutes either.
Okay. Yeah, right. Yeah, right.
I mean, he is right. We are in a group chat all day long.
I would. Okay, but it's different. All right. I don't care.
Yeah, you love these guys more.
Yes, we love each other way more than our girls.
Well, I mean, Jake's girl legitimately thinks that he comes down to my house to do gay
My
stuff.
wife won't do things to me that Sky will.
And
Put
this
that
is
on
why.
I was gonna say if anyone's gonna do something to you guys, it's probably Keller.
Oh,
Honestly.
that's
He does
Yeah.
shit that people do on farms to domestic
Yeah.
animals. So.
Keller's on. Yo, Gabe, you saw Keller this
I
last
saw
weekend.
him after he spent the afternoon with you, and I don't know what that says about both of us, but
Keller was worn out. No.
worn out. I don't know
No.
why he was so tired and walking with a limp.
Golly.
Long Toes got a hold of him.
Well, I thought you saw him on Sunday though.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, he came to my place Friday.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
damn!
so
You
if he still had a limp, if he still had a limp, I'm impressed with myself. God damn. Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus. But Nate, you recently did a couple cool trips. Can you tell us about those a little bit before we dive into the meat and potatoes of that?
Yeah, so back in early November, I did a little birthday present for myself, and finally booked a guided trip down to Costa Rica. So, had a great time there. Saw a lot of cool stuff. Obviously, I mean, I've been spamming the write-ins with that stuff. So,
Yeah, it seemed like
Well-
multiple trips.
well,
Had a
each day is
bunch
worth
of
multiple
trips.
trips. So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but each day was a trip in its own, so to speak.
hell yeah.
But yeah, now that I'm going to be talking about it with you guys, I've had to do other trips, other older trips to span the group chat with. But yeah, did that it was like a week-long trip, mostly focused on the La Fortuna area of Costa Rica, though we did go to a few other locations. And I actually got kind of lucky. The tour company I booked with is actually brand new. It's just a couple of herpers who decided to see if they could actually start their own tour company. And so they had another group that booked but canceled before they got there. So I was the only one there. So I got full
Nice.
Oh man, you got like
Soul
the
attention.
royalty treatment.
attention, so to speak. Yeah, and we got to go to a few locations that, if it was a group, that we honestly probably would have just stayed in the one area, which is a really great area. We might have seen some more stuff in that. We went around, but we did run around to see some more stuff. So that was. And then a few months ago, Bryant, my Reptile Ramblings co-host, who you guys had on before, he just hit me up. It's like, hey, I'm going to be turning 25 in April. I want to do a herping trip. Let's go to Colombia. I want to break the South America cap. So Colombia is the easiest. Well, I should say the easiest. It's the least expensive country to fly to, and there's not that much knowledge on herping in there. So we're like, anything we find is kind of new for American herpers, so to speak. So we did that. We ran ourselves ragged, honestly, run all over the place there. So
I bet that sounds sick though. Colombia's got some sick jungle and rainforest. I bet it's probably like deep like the Amazon or what.
we actually didn't get into the Amazonian part. It was mostly just driving from Bogota across the mountains to the Pacific coast, then driving back across again. That was like the bulk of the trip. But we're thinking about going again, maybe late this year, probably not, but maybe sometime next year, do another trip and aim for the actual rainy season, because we actually got there literally a week before the rainy season started.
Oh.
The day after we left is when the rains hit. So
Damn.
Was that just y'all running and gunning, or was that like a guided trip as well?
we were just running and gunning. We were just INAT herping. So
Nice.
INAT was our
That's almost more rewarding. Like the guided trips are cool, but whenever you can just kind of go out, do your own thing, and figure it out as you go, like, and you actually find stuff, that's so rewarding, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, we actually did find through INET. Yeah, I was gonna say.
How do you figure out the property issues over there? Like how do you know you're not like walking onto a farmer's property to get shot at or something? Like
it's simple. It's simple. You go at night.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
But,
Just break the law. It's fine.
I'm joking. I'm joking. Mostly. Most of the time we were like on parks or public land or something like that.
Okay.
We definitely did not go onto a private plantation that had a lot of INAT spots for cayman. Definitely didn't do that at all.
No, of course not.
We don't condone that on this podcast, so that's great.
Yeah, I'm apparently a bad influence of the group now.
No, Keller's around, so definitely not.
Never have to worry about that.
No, definitely not. That's awesome, man.
Well,
cool.
But speaking of the INAT thing, we actually did find one really nice little hot spot. I kid not, it was right next to this kind of low budget nightclub that truckers stop by around the side of the highway. It's like it was called like Viper Creek as well, so that's added to it a little bit.
Nuts.
Sweet.
Oh yeah.
So, getting to our outline, kind of start, I guess, like because the Costa Rica trip and the Colombia trip were, different per se with the actual planning, because one was just you two and the other one was more of a guided trip.
It was more than just me and Brian. There's two other guys with us.
So. Okay,
but don't make it out like we're like don't make me and Brian out like you and Sky. Okay, Jake.
Okay, well, you guys wish you were me and Sky, so let's get that out of the way.
That
romance is untouchable. Okay?
Yeah, no, nobody touches that. But what was
we put sin in each other's foreskins, all right?
Okay. We don't share certain things. But what was what was the planning that kind of went into that? How did you, because I know there's several different guides for Costa Rica, but how did you plan kind of both trips, and what were the differences?
Well, with Costa Rica, and when it came to choosing the guided field trip, honestly, it was the one that was whose ads were most commonly popping up on my Instagram feed, and also least expensive, like extremely less expensive than other guided tours. Like,
oh wow,
I was just looking it up, and other guided tours were like $5,000. This one was like $1,200. So that was like,
Jesus.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I'll take that then.
I guess I'm doing that one.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of nervous that they would just take me down there to go take me to one of the high grade hospitals there and have a professional kidney extraction, but turns out they're actually pretty solid dudes. So we actually had one of them on Reptile Ramblings, Jeremy. He's pretty solid herper as well as Jay. So
nice.
Cool. And were they from the US and just kind of
Yep.
Okay, and so they just knew the area and were starting there. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, they like Jeremy. Also, he's like down there like multiple times a year in Costa Rica. He just loves it down there. So,
nice.
And he's also helps out very fluent in Spanish. So that in Latin America, having someone in your group that can at least get you through most situations, it's helpful.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Oh man, the only things I can say in Spanish are like how to order hookers, beer, and cocaine.
Okay.
So,
all right.
One of the most important sentences you need to know in Spanish is "un cerveza, por favor."
All right.
Una
So
cerveza. Yeah.
did you learn the hard way and drink any of the water?
No. I need to lose weight, but not like that. So yeah, I was kept wise to it, just bottled water or Coca-Cola or something like that. So
yeah, I see.
The water's bad? Okay, I'm drinking soda for the next 2 weeks, bitches.
Yeah, that's honestly like with traveling to places like that. That's one of the biggest things, because like Gabe already messed with me about my kidneys. If I go on a trip like that, like I have to drink like a ungodly amount of water, or I will get a kidney stone.
If you open a bag of Crystal Light too close to Jake, you can hear his kidney go.
Yeah, no.
On day 2 of herping, while I'm drinking energy drinks, Jake's over there like a fucking wrinkled raisin.
Dude, you can ask Gabe and Sky anytime we go herping. My first stop is at a gas station. I buy at least 1, if not 2 gallons of water, just massive jugs, and I hold them at my feet.
Oh, yo, I'm so bad.
I also like holding massive jugs.
A whole day on one of these.
Yeah, Gabe's just like drinking away on his coffee and Monster, and I'm
In
like,
all honesty,
how do you survive? Like,
in all honesty, on my second to last night there, we went on a jungle hike down. It was like on the Caribbean coast near the Panamanian border, and we were told that this place had like, it's like radio telemetry tracks Bushmaster, so it's just like a 15-minute hike in, see it, 15-minute hike out. Good. We get there. Oh, we stopped tracking Bushmasters like 2-3 years ago because we don't have the funding for it. So, but you can still hike around, follow our guide on the night hike. It's like, okay, now I wish I had brought the water with me. So,
yeah,
like literally 4 hours of hiking through the jungle later, I was getting back to that car and I was just chugging water after that.
What was that sign you made right there?
I would have been full of
it was this right here.
This.
Anyways, but yeah, I was just down. Because here's the thing about me. Here's what thing about me. When I sweat like a faucet. So I did need to top up on the water. So.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man.
I bet the humidity was like horrible there.
Oh yeah. The thing is, we got to see that those very famous golden cult phase eyelash vipers.
Yep.
And my DSLR camera got killed by the humidity before I could even whip it out.
Oh, that bad? Oh
Jesus.
my god.
Yeah. Then again, I just had it in my backpack, not in any plastic case or anything like that. So it was just taking in all my big back sweat as well. That probably didn't help.
Big back sweat and jungle.
Well,
you know,
well, I guess that's one good tip for anybody. If you're going to be herping in an area like that, it's probably good to have, if you're carrying an actual camera, maybe have it in something a little bit more waterproof for while you hike around.
Being that everything's so wet out there, right? Like, I would imagine like it would be a good idea to wear like thin layered quick dry clothes, right?
Yeah. I got the like Wrangler brand hiking pants.
Yeah.
So very thin. Well, I won't say they're super thin, but they're very breathable, very good at wicking. I just like bought like 4 or 5 pair before I even went on the trip, and now that's actually what I wear most of the time, just for work and anything like that, because those are so comfortable.
Nice.
So
pants, yeah. What about socks? All right, I'm genuinely curious. Like, do you go like really thin, quick dry socks, or do you go like waterproof socks with really quick dry shoes?
Honestly, depends what I throw in the bag, but I did get a whole bundle of those really thin socks, and I was like, okay, I got a whole like 28 pack of them. I'm just going to throw them away once I'm done. Like, I'm not dealing with this rot afterwards. So
you didn't want to ride back with a suitcase that smelled like feet?
Man, I already had dirty, sweaty clothes. I didn't need to add dirty, sweaty socks to it as well. I didn't want to kill some poor customs agent who pops it open and just catches the whole gas chamber of Nate, of fermented Nate, and just.
Then you get fucking cited for having a chemical bomb in your fucking bag.
Speaking of fermenting, Gabe left his boots in my truck overnight after our day of herping with Jack, and it smelled like something died in my truck.
So my boots got wet the day before, and it started to rain, and I meant to put them on the porch at Jack's.
Outside.
And I left them on the back seat of Jake's truck, and we got in to leave the next morning, and it was so bad. I opened the door and looked at Jake and was like, "I'm so sorry,
dude." I opened the truck and was like, "What is that?" And Gabe's like, "Oh, I left my boots in here," and I'm like, "You son of a bitch."
Yeah,
you can die now.
But referring to Gabe's question about the quick dry socks, stuff like that, I had gotten waterproof hiking boots. It's only then that I got there that I realized you don't need hiking boots. You need like the knee-high muck boots. That's what you need if you're going to hike in the jungle. because we had to cross several streams, and I tried my damn best to avoid getting my feet wet. Some of those creeks are just a little too wide, and I just had a full boot full of water for the rest of the hike. So.
That's why I have kind of leaned more towards shoes that have good ventilation and just deal with getting wet and let the water drain out, and your feet will eventually get kind of dry. Because
thing is, in the jungle, you need the extra protection from all the plants and stuff down there. So.
Yeah, that's probably a good point.
I've seen a couple herping videos of people in the jungle where they've put plastic bags around their feet, then put the socks on, then put their boots on.
Oh,
so you're getting wet, but you're not totally rotting your foot off, you know?
Yeah, just give it a nice steam bath.
I've heard getting trench foot in the jungle, like after like days hiking through the jungle.
You'll kill yourself doing that shit.
Yeah,
you can lose your
Actually,
limbs,
one of my college buddies, Matt. We also had him on Reptile Ramblings recently. You guys should check it out if you want. It's a really good show. So, plug aside. He actually did like a month-long trip over to Indonesia last summer, and he talked about how he had trench foot for like almost an entire month. He was during the internship. Then he finally just basically got to the hotel at the airport and just scrubbed his foot off almost, just to get it all off. So. But he also he just got back from a trip to Costa Rica as well. He went more on the southern Pacific coast. So I also talked to him the other day. He's still collating all his pictures, getting them all organized, stuff like that. So you should probably reach out to him as well. He's a pretty cool guy overall. We did a couple of herping trips together as well. Like in college, we actually got the university to give us one of those big 12-passenger kidnapper vans. And we actually, because of my work at Serpentarium, we actually got it for free because the professor needed to ship one of the water monitors there down to Iguana Land. That was before Iguana Land opened up. So we basically got a free vehicle to take on spring break. So me and two other guys just hoboing around South Florida for a solid week. So.
Nice.
You two dudes in a van homoing around South Florida?
3. It makes it a little bit more erotic.
3 dudes. Now we're talking.
Oh,
Brokeback Keys.
Hell yeah. These bridges don't break, brother.
Well, that's
because they haven't encountered our gyrations.
All right, let's get a little back on track here. Talk about some of the packing essentials for a trip like that, Nate. I know you're kind of limited on what you can and can't bring on a plane like that, but what was your thought on the essentials to bring with you, and then also what are some of the things you got as soon as you got there?
Yeah. So one thing I brought along was bug wipes. So like those off backwoods packs. I made sure they had DEET in them. Made sure not to handle amphibians, or at least try not to handle amphibians after you wipe yourself down. But you do need to get yourself nice and coated up. And once you got that stuff on, honestly, the bugs aren't that bad, at least in my experience. Another thing is, just because I know I sweat a lot, and when I do get sweaty, I can also chafe, and that can really, impede a hike. I made sure to bring a bunch of extra clothes as well, especially underwear and socks, just so I stay somewhat clean, and I don't come down with something nasty that kind of inhibits the trip, inhibits my mobility. And I did get a collapsible hook for the Colombia trip. The Costa Rica trip, I tried to bring one of my previous owned fixed length hooks. I barely got them in this really big pack I got, this really big travel bag I got. Barely fit in diagonally, and that really impeded how well I could pack that bag. So now I got the collapsible hook, and I got it just for herping. So that way, it's never coming in this building. I'm in my reptile shed right now. It's never coming in this building. Yeah. I'm keeping that quarantined off. Other than that, obviously headlamp, a flashlight, some way to charge them or replace batteries on them. And we didn't really use it, but I also brought some water cleansing tablets. It's like a chlorine tablets to, in case worst comes to worst, we're in the middle of the jungle, we're all dehydrated, and there's a somewhat clean stream, we could hopefully rehydrate without immediately dehydrating out the backside. So
Nice. Good.
Smart
Yeah.
shit.
So what was there something in Costa Rica specifically that you were looking for, or like was the initial draw to Costa Rica just being a generally good herp spot? Because I know a lot of us in the United States, like Costa Rica is a pretty common area to go to. So was the draw to there just being accessible, or was it like I'm going there because I want to see this? Like, what was the initial draw? And Colombia as well. You can answer
It's
any
a bit of
questions
both.
due to both.
Yeah. In terms of Costa Rica, it was a bit of both. Like I said, it's very easily accessible. It's very well charted out when it comes to ecotourism down there. So there's a lot better chance of getting a bang for your buck. And for my first overseas trip, I wanted to make sure I actually got my money's worth out of it. So that's what the big draw for that. And the second part of that was I just really want to see eyelash vipers. They're one of the most iconic snakes in the world.
Sure.
And I didn't really know this, but apparently they're one of the most easily found venomous snakes down there. The only one that might be even more commonly seen is fertilance. So
That's crazy that a fertilance is a common venomous snake down there.
They're all over the place down there.
That's crazy.
From what
dude.
I've heard, they're about like how our copperheads are here, Jake.
That blows my freaking mind, dude. Because like you get bit by copperhead down here, I mean, a lot of people don't even have to go to the hospital. You get bit by fertilance, like good luck.
Yeah.
See you on the other side.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, and they also get, a lot bigger than copperheads too. Like,
oh yeah, fertilance are huge.
The biggest one we saw, genuinely. I mean, it was that one. I don't remember if you remember a few weeks back. It was one that had like half its face all swollen up and pussy looking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And that one, that one was super sickly looking. That was the biggest one we actually got kind of close to and saw. That one was a solid like 4.5, 5 foot. We saw hints of ones on roads that dove off the road before we could get out. That might have been bigger than that. And actually, Jeremy and Jay got there a day before me and did a little road cruising, and they found one that was big. So,
what was the coolest species that you would say you guys found while you were there?
Ooh,
like you, that was like all right, this made the trip for us.
Okay, I first finish. I answer the question about Colombia, then I'll try and answer that because there's so many species. But when it came to choosing Colombia, it was mostly Bryant who chose it. It was like I said, it was for his birthday, so had to do my boy right and go where he wanted. So maybe in a few years for my birthday, we'll go to a place I want. We'll see how that goes. Honestly, I do plan on going back to Colombia sometime just because I really want to see wild Orinoco crocs. That's like high up on my list. One of my favorite crocs. I've worked them in captivity, so I definitely want to see them in the wild. But answering your question, Sky.
Just real quick, I'm going to interrupt for 1 second. I'm going to just kind of click through some pictures that you sent us. You don't have to comment on every one. I'm just going to kind of loop through them, and if there's something you want to mention on one, just tell me to stop. Okay.
Yeah. But coolest species in Costa Rica. That was in Colombia. Some sort of species. I can't remember the exact species. Maybe Brian in the chat can remember what the exact species was. That was actually our first herp we got our hands on. We saw an iguana on the side of the road that darted off the side of the road on a drive out to that location. Yeah.
Hell yeah. That looks cool looking, man.
Yeah.
I like the little pattern on his head and neck.
But cool species in Costa Rica. I'm probably going to say it might be the eyelash, but also might be the false tree coral snake because those things are apparently super rare to actually see in the wild, and we got super lucky in seeing that. So
hell yeah, it sounds cool.
But this was in and around the town of Armenia, which is kind of so in Colombia, the Andes Mountains, as it goes north, it actually splits into two separate ranges. And Bogota, the city we flew on, is on the eastern range. So you go across that down to the Magdalena River Valley, then back up through the mountains, and that's where Armenia is on the other side of the western mountains. Okay, that one was in Viper Creek. That was in the mountains, kind of like in between Armenia and the Pacific coast. That's Cope's vine snake, or was it Oxybellus? Oxybellus brevirostris. So yeah, I think that's the species name. I saw those in one of those in Colombia as well. So it wasn't a lifer, but it was like one of the first snakes we actually saw on the trip, because we kind of skunked out a lot of the trip, but that was one of the first ones. So we were like,
that's such a good pick. That's a good pick, man.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I wanted to kind of show how skinny that was. So
for sure. What was, talk about the, obviously Colombia, you didn't have a guide. Costa Rica, you had a guide. Talk a little bit about the pros and cons of both, because like obviously you have a little bit more free range not having a guide, but obviously having a guide and somebody who knows what they're doing and knows where to go to see stuff can be good. So talk about the pros and cons of both of those.
Just real quick on this photo, this was another type of forest flame or false coral snake. I believe the genus is Oxyropus. We saw Petulatus in Costa Rica. This might be a different species. I don't know the exact species, though. Might just be a different color face, but unfortunately, we did nick this one with a car. If you zoom in on cloaca, you can see a bit of it hanging out.
Yeah.
So we had to euthanize it.
That's unfortunate.
Oh.
But at least we got a few pics of it, and we made sure that didn't suffer too long.
Yeah, that's good.
But when it comes to the thing about guides is you do get, I think it's you get a lot more condensed herping for the time you spend in country. So it's someone who knows where to look and what to look for where you are. So you're a lot less likely to strike out, from my experience. But at the same time, like I said, yeah, that when you don't have a guide, you're just winging it. You have all that flexibility, and to a certain extent, what you do find is a bit more rewarding. But that was at one of the restaurants at Viper Creek. So we were just after we just hiked up that trail a little bit, we were all sweaty and sat around drinking cold Coca-Colas. Had that guy on the camera just chanting, "New friend, new friend, new friend, new friend."
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard to decide. I think we're going to when we go to Colombia again, we're going to do a lot more research on where to go, and if there's people in that area who know where to go for what species. So we're going to be a little bit more research, a little bit more refined the next time down there. So hopefully the next time down there, we're also going to be planning our trip a little bit differently, so that we get there at a different time, because we actually got there during the full moon. And man, I tell you what, during that full moon, when it was dry, it was almost nothing. It was just the big toads that were moving around. I mean,
full moon makes a difference, man. It really does.
I kid you not. We just stopped. I was like, "Hey guys, do you hear what I hear?" They're like, "Well, what's that?" No frogs calling. There wasn't a single frog calling at all. It was like dead quiet. Which in Costa Rica, there was frogs going off all the time, insects going off all the time. That night in Armenia, we turned our lights off and we could see perfectly fine without the lights at all, and it was like 2 hours after sunset.
Oof.
So that the moon was that bright, and like I said, there was like no bugs calling, no frogs calling. It was eerie, but we did see an armadillo, so that was cool.
Nice. If say you had a preference, obviously you're probably going to do one of these trips again, at least.
I'm probably going to do both again. But.
Yeah. If so, are you going to go guide or no guide whenever you do them again?
Oh, well, I don't think there's that many guides in Colombia, so that kind of rules out guides for there. I think it's mostly self-guided.
So Costa Rica, would you do guide again or would you go no guide?
I'd probably do guides again, because a lot of like the preserves and stuff like that in Costa Rica are private property. So having a guide there can really help with easing out, getting access to these trails and stuff like that, especially for after dark. Because a lot of times these places during the day you get in for like a fee or something like that, but after dark you're going to need like special permission or something like that. Right. And like I said, those guides know where to look and what to look for, and they're often the best at spotting the native wildlife. So.
For sure. Cool. What What are some things to be cautious of in these areas?
Costa Rica, it was a pretty safe country. In all honesty, the most dangerous thing there is probably the fertilizers.
Yeah.
I kid you not. The one place we went to look for strawberry dart frogs, it was like a kilometer hike downhill. The hike back uphill would have killed Jake. Little flat country.
Okay, all right. Gabe and Sky are also from the flat country. Just because I'm fat doesn't
Bitch,
mean
I'm from the fucking California mountains, you crusty bitch. I know how to hike hills.
You still live in the flat country. I don't want to hear.
I walk like all day.
Okay, I don't know why I got called out on that when both of y'all also live.
Because you're the only one that complains about hills.
I'm also a professional at digging myself in holes, so I know how to fucking climb out of shit, bitch.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. I can't remember the turtle species that was there, but that was at the Viper Creek location. Anyways, but I kid not. We went down to this waterfall to see the strawberry dart frogs. We saw the strawberry dart frogs, and we climbed back up. And really, at the foot of the trail, starting up the hill, was a juvenile fertilance just sitting right in the middle of the path, pretty much.
Oh,
and
nice.
we had seen other tourists coming back up from the waterfalls as we were going down, and most of them were barefoot. So we were like, "Ooh, that could have been bad for someone else." So it's like a moment of clarity, realizing just how common barefoot people are barefoot, and just how common a very potent venomous snake is down there.
Nice. Well, you've kind of touched on, so hooks are generally allowed. Is there any laws on having hooks or anything out there?
None that I've heard of. Everyone had their own hooks for the most part. So
good. You talked about some regulations of public access a little bit. Most of the areas were public, but
what did you guys do for housing while you were there?
In Costa Rica, most of the time it was lodges. They have plenty of eco lodges, stuff like that, so that really helped.
Okay.
That was actually the first stake on the Colombia trip. Little blunt head.
Oh, look at it!
Yeah,
that's so cool.
I kid you not. That's if like an anime artist drew a snake, they would draw that thing. Those big ol' eyes. But like I said, mostly eco lodges, just for the most part. In Colombia, they have these little country estates they call fincas. That's where we spent a lot of our time at. We had to stay at the hotel the first night there because Delta screwed us over royally when it came to flight delays and stuff like that. So we basically lost an entire day of traveling due to flight delays.
Jeez, man.
So we had to stay at the airport Marriott. And one night we actually did just sleep in our car on the side of the road because we had just been driving till 5 a.m. road cruising. And it was our most productive road cruising night. But yeah, we had to sleep on the side of the road that
super
night.
Wicked looking.
Yeah, so that was near the city of Buenaventura on the west coast of Colombia. And I'm going to tell you this: you probably want to avoid the Buenaventura area for your own safety. That is a lot. Colombia has some spots that are actually legitimately kind of risky to go into, and Buenaventura, it's not a way to put it. It is a poor area. It just basically looks like a giant shanty town attached to a port facility, basically. But yeah, that was one of our second lizards we actually got our hands on. That's a scaly backed anole, if I recall correctly. And we were just hiking up and down this gravel road next to a river, and I just got back in the car because I had the AC on just to cool off a little bit because it was oppressively hot. And I just looked out the window. I just saw this guy scurrying along in the middle of the road, and I just we were been kind of skunked down on this trip for 2 whole days for pretty much. So I was like, I gotta get my hands on this thing. I don't care if it's an anole, I'm grabbing it. So I ran out there and grabbed it, and there you have it. And we had a few other pictures beforehand where it showed I have some more afterwards where it shows the dewlap. It has a pretty cool dewlap on it. But
yeah, it looks pretty cool though. It looks like it has the same kind of pattern as an alligator lizard.
Yeah, and actually this guy had darkened up by the time that picture was taken. When we first got him, it was in the sun. It was even brighter contrast. Like those darker bands were a very rich, dark chocolate, almost a lot more solid, and the lighter colors even lighter, so it had a lot more contrast. But we put them underneath a little cup, those little doggy bowls or whatever, like you guys talked about, because Ryan brought one of those, and we pulled up to take a photo, and he had darkened up a lot in that time.
Cool.
So,
So you stayed at lodges in Costa Rica. Was it the same in Colombia, or did y'all have a different housing situation there?
like I said, it was mostly it was like Airbnbs almost. They call them fincas, which are like kind of like a country estate or a vacation home or something like that. Basically like some place where someone will rent out like an upstairs room for a night or something like that. So that was most of our stay in Colombia.
Cool.
Oh,
that was
Cayman.
That was probably the highlight of the trip. That is Schneider's smooth front caimans. That's Paleosuchus trichinatus. So
that's what isn't that what
Jack?
That's what Jack has, right?
Yeah, Trig.
Yeah.
Great question.
So I have wanted to see Paleosuchus in the wild for quite a while now, and this echidna was like the last living herp we saw on the trip. We had started driving back towards Bogota that night, and we just happened to stop along this little pond on the side of the road, basically, and we're just scanning with lights, and we just saw that guy, and just from looking at the head, I could tell it's a Paleosuchus. So we have seen a fair number of spectacles before that, but this guy, just looking at it, you can tell right away it's not spectacled. So
yeah, very good. What's the
look at that thing.
What's the local view of snakes out there? Are they generally more afraid? Are they respected? Like
that's the scaly bacchanal.
That's sick.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, what's the general view of snakes out there? Are people more afraid of them, or do they respect them? Like, what? Or do you even know? Like, what was the general consensus of snakes out there?
In Colombia, honestly, about the closest we got about the closest we got in terms of public view of them, as when we got. I didn't ask too much about the closest I got.
Jeez, you're breaking out a bit.
Starting to break up a little bit.
Can you hear us, Nate?
I can't really say into the general consensus.
Jesus.
What I can say is about the only input we got back on that was that night we found the lance heads. The cops pulled us over and were grilling us because someone called about this strange car driving around this small rural town at 2 a.m. And they were asking us over to, and it's like, oh, we're taking pictures of snakes. It's like, okay. And we said, we had the pictures to prove it. So.
Can you hear us?
I don't want to see any pictures of snakes. Those cops didn't. So.
Can you hear us? Okay, you've been breaking out that whole last part.
Nate, can you hear us?
Fairly well.
Okay.
Oh
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
you're cutting out a lot.
Am I coming?
We're losing you more and more now.
You're kidding me?
Yep, you're frozen on my screen.
Oh.
Nope.
What the heck? Who's that?
How's that sound?
Yep, I can hear you.
Hold on. Let me do this real quick.
Hey, I'm back.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, apparently my internet decided to poop out on me. So
Okay.
No, you're good now. We got you loud and clear.
So we only got bits and pieces of the view of the general public of the snakes. So if you could kind of run over that one more time, that'd be great.
Yeah, so about the closest I got to actually hearing about that was we got pulled over one night by the policia, who were curious about why there was some random car driving around at 3 a.m. in this small rural town. And we explained to them, well, we're here to photograph like reptiles, amphibiones, whatever. And they're like, oh, okay. And we told them we have the photos to prove it, and they're like, no, you're good. Just keep going your way. So they didn't want to see pictures of the snake, let alone see the snake itself. So
yeah,
they
probably didn't care.
Yeah, but like I said, that's that scaly bacchanal.
That's actually a really cool looking lizard, man.
Yeah. So
really cool.
That kind of helped break our herping drought a little bit. So
nice. Yeah, that would have been a fun one to play with. I would have probably done the same thing, man. I would have been geeking over that little thing.
Yeah,
sure.
Especially if you have been kind of striking out for like 2 whole days. So
yeah,
for sure.
Oh, that's an awesome pattern. That's freaking dope.
So what kind of, I don't know, what kind of tips can you give us or resources for, what can you give us for planning, the general public listening to this? What kind of tips can you give for planning a successful trip to Costa Rica or Colombia? What would your recommendations be?
In all honesty,
cool. That's a cool butterfly.
That's cool as fuck.
Yeah. I had to take a photo of that one. That was just sitting too pretty there. But
Nate, you know what species that is?
I have absolutely no idea.
Send me a pic of that on Messenger.
I might. I don't know if you're my Facebook friend or not. So
I think I'm on Instagram. I think I follow you on Instagram. Yeah, send it to me over Instagram.
All right. But when it comes to Colombia, I honestly, we didn't have what someone would consider a successful trip, so I can't really say too much on how to plan for Colombia. I had to have a lot more success, a couple more successful trips under my belt there to actually give advice on Colombia. Costa Rica, in all honesty, I would say, like, if you know a place you're staying at, call ahead, see if they know any like nature guides, something like that can guide you around. But yeah, you can probably just call up the lodge you're staying at or the hotel and say, hey, are there guides and stuff like that? And they might be able to connect you up there, I'm guessing. If not, there's plenty of herping tour companies down there. So yeah, I think that's one of those little projects they have down there.
I think it's crazy looking.
So I think those are the ones. Yeah.
Ooh, look at that.
That's a pretty.
Yeah, they call that saffron finch, which is actually a type of tanager. But you know what I say about birds? They're the inferior archosaur.
That's a pretty little dove.
Yeah, those are like morning doves around there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the view from the finca we stayed at. It was kind of like where we stayed at was kind of like halfway in between Armenia and Buenaventura, so it's still in the mountains, heading towards the Pacific coast.
That's beautiful, man.
Yeah, and that was that one shot of the Schneiders. I just had to get that, eye shine shot.
Yeah, sorry, the pictures are kind of jumbled. I saved them in the order you sent them, but when I put them in an album, they got kind of jumbled. So all the pictures are kind of all over the place. So I apologize. Trips like these, and granted, a lot of these pictures you've sent to the Flippin Tin page is right in, so some people might recognize these if you're listening live.
So that is a Ashmead's banded cat eye snake. So that's Leptodyra ashmeadii. So Sky, I gotta say, when I sent those Costa Rican cat eyes photos, I was so annoyed to hear going on about, oh, it's a boy guy. It's a Leptodyra. Get it right. On the other side of the ocean.
Fucking idiot.
Hey.
But man, a trips like these, you know, for some people could be potentially once in a lifetime. But you know, coming back from a trip like that is big. What are the main things you took back from that trip, whether it be, you know, field herping oriented? I also know you're a captive keeping oriented. Like, what did you bring back from that trip that helped you better as a herp lover, you know?
Honestly, the biggest lesson I took back was, man, I need to get out there again. Ugh.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of the first spectacle caimans we saw down there. And it's just in some cultural ditch. So those are all over the place.
Did it like push you to want to herp more in your area or anything, or did just the herping in general?
My current job, I actually got my hands on a lot of like scrapped roofing tin, so I'm going to be hopefully setting up a tin line sometime in the next few weeks.
Heck
yeah.
Yeah, and actually, when we get to the photo, there is a species of snake in Costa Rica that I just had to get here. So I have a captive individual of that one of the species that's on Costa Rica.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll pull them out as soon as we get that one.
Yeah, that's kind of why I started clicking through these, because there's a lot.
Yeah, that's the lance head. That was actually the second lance head we saw on that one night. And the first, and I can't remember the species of gecko. I'm sorry, Bryant. I'm blanking out. I'm focusing on my brain part of the Costa Rica trip. I'm sorry. Yeah, you get to another picture of that gecko, you actually see it has actually a row of spines on its tail.
Well, like I said, these pictures aren't in order, so you'll have to.
And that was the first lance head. So actually, when we were driving that night, I was driving that time, and I happened to see it passing by on the other lane, and I thought, that's a stick. But if it is a stick, it looks a lot like a snake periscoping. So I put it in reverse, and I was like, I thought I saw something. As it get closer and closer, I was like, it's just a stick. The way the trip's been going, it just has to be a stick. Then we get on, like, oh, it's an actual viper. We broke the venomous cap. Woo! So we spent like a half hour photographing that thing, and I don't know if you can tell from this photo, but that guy clearly had eaten a few frogs or something like that, right? Because you could just see a little lumps in them. Yeah. And where we were that, we actually gone back across to the other side of the Andes into the Eastern Plains region of Meta Department. And I kid you not, driving down the roads there at night, it honestly felt like road cruising parts of Southeast Texas I've been in, because it's like a raised road surrounded by somewhat low-lying, fairly easily floodable agricultural area. So it felt a lot like coastal Texas. And I guess that's South American water moccasin then, if that's what we found on the road.
Right.
Nice.
So yeah, I saw both. Lumping these two trips together in the course of 6 months, I saw both Bothrops asper and Bothrops atrox. Yeah, but if you zoom in on the tail of that gecko, you'd actually see the spikes he has on his tail.
That's crazy looking.
Yeah, that thing looks sick.
And honestly, Brian got some really sick photos of it on top of a fence post.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. No, answer your question. No, it's not a turnip tail. I saw turnip tails in Costa Rica. So, yeah, that's that first one. So.
Nice. Oh, man, that's a great photo.
That looks sick.
Well, actually, if you go back to that previous photo, if you zoom in on his head, you should probably be able to see the tick he has on top of his head.
I noticed that in actually the first picture you sent.
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, and before we found this guy, we actually found a big toad that we actually pulled the tick off like from right underneath his jawbone. We obviously didn't mess with the tick on this guy just because we wanted to live. So
yeah.
Of course. Yeah, that's beautiful, man. Oh yeah, you can see a good shot of that tick there.
Yeah.
Frogs in his belly too.
And that was the first of the Ashmead's cat eyes we saw. Now it's just a little baby that Bryant's happened to see like next to a bridge or walking along.
That thing looks so cool.
Yeah. Honestly, I think those are a better looking cat eye snake than the ones in Costa Rica. And some sort of frog. I think it might be a leopard frog. I don't know. But from what I've read, 1 out of 2 times, one out of the 2 frogs you're going to find in the tropics is going to be a crowgaster of some sort. So it might have been one of those.
A toad.
Is that cane toad or no?
We saw throughout the course of the trip, we saw 2 species of large toad. One of them was cane toad. I think it might be this guy. And I can't remember the other one. On the Pacific side of me, it might be the giant toad.
Was the other one the smooth-sided toad?
I don't think it's smooth sided. I think it's something else.
Okay. You got the giant marine toad, and then you got
coastal marine or some shit. Or?
Yeah.
So that pool right there is what we saw the dwarf came in. He was all the way in the back side of it.
Did you guys go swimming for it?
Not that one, no.
Jack there with you.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, now managed to get a hummingbird scratching his ear. So.
Oh, nice. That's so cool.
And in and around Meta, those things were everywhere.
Some type of nightjar.
They call it a great putu.
Okay.
So they fill the same niche as nightjars. So
yeah.
Okay, this is
smoky.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I could not find the picture, but I managed to get my whole hands on this one on a different night, and Jay took a picture of me with it. I kid not, that frog had nipples. I like the roided up bodybuilder nipples too. So it just
friggin' pecs, man.
Jake would have been all over that.
Shut the fuck.
Yeah, it looked like it was trying to tell me to get to the chopper, but yeah, that's the Brazilian wandering spider I saw there. So, and I think I said right in at one point that I didn't touch it because I did not want to expire via extreme erection. So,
yeah.
And that was the last full night I had in Costa Rica. That was the last. That was like the last snake we saw was this big old boa constrictor. And that was at the end. That was at the end of that hike. We were all hiking back. Me and our guides, the guy who was leading the hike, we were all just had our heads just on the trail ahead of us, and then the uber fit young German couple behind us, like, oh look, boa. I was like, oh, because there's arboreal boas there, there's tree boas there. I was like, oh, it could be one of those. And I run back up and I look down the ground, and there's just this, big, huge chunkus of a unit of a snake on the ground there, and she was going into some brush, and I just managed to grab her and wrangle her out of that. So,
hell yeah, dude, the thing's beautiful looking.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, and that's that golden eyelash viper we saw on the hike.
Beautiful. It doesn't get much better than eyelash vipers.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Tree frog, I can't say for certain. I had to look through the book a little bit more thoroughly. That might be a different species of tree frog.
Yeah, there's quite a few that look very similar. You gotta know by the leg stretch and shit, right?
Yeah. If you go back, that was the dwarf glass frog. Yeah, that was a dwarf glass frog.
Those look sick.
I don't know why, but that guy always looks like you just told him a bad joke. So. And that was that vine snake we saw as well.
Very good.
Oh, nice.
And that's the false tree coral. So that's the one that's super hard to see, super rare to see because they're nocturnal and they're arboreal. So, good luck seeing them. And he was like up in a tree and the guide spotted him. And it's like, we're like, oh, because especially Jeremy, he's been down there, like a dozen times. And this is his life for false tree coral. So.
Hell yeah.
That thing's super cool looking.
That is awesome.
Are these like rear fanged or anything?
I think they're technically a rear fang colubrid. So.
Look at that little unit.
Thing looks really like
a little duck lip. Call that a duck lip back beef bus.
That's a cool frog, man.
Yeah, it looks dope.
Oh man,
that's a cool looking gecko.
Yeah, that's a yellow-headed gecko. I saw that on the trail.
Little patch of blue on his mouth there is crazy.
Yeah, it looks like fucking face paint.
Yeah, and that's actually a male. The females are apparently sexually dimorphic and a lot blander color than the males are.
Very good.
That's cool. Oh, look at it. There's your pop one, Jack.
Yeah, there's the pop one. Yeah, you want to roast me for calling it a boega. He called it a fucking Papuan, all right?
Yeah, he said that looked like a Papuan, which is crazy.
In all honesty, I was inspired to get a species. They're so cool looking. See?
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's one of them? Here, let me stop sharing because we're probably at a point we need to...
Yeah, this is my snail eater.
That's your snail eater. Now I get the joke.
That's fucking hilarious.
That's funny.
That's awesome.
Where'd you get that snail eater from?
Huh?
Where's that snail eater from?
Papua.
Nice.
Good stuff, man. Well, I think we're at a point that we need to kind of start wrapping this sucker up. I know there's still a lot more photos, but we only have so much time in the evening. And I do have your write-in down. Got to make sure that it got onto the computer. So is there any kind of closing remarks you got for us, Nate, about the trip in general, or?
Make sure you have plenty of water. Make sure you stay clean. Don't get that jungle funk. All that good stuff.
That jungle funk.
All right.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
But
pick when you got Latin water.
But yeah, I am, like I said, I am going to be at Croc Fest on June 7th. I'll actually be live streaming from that. So June 7th, sometime in the early afternoon, if you want to tune in, just see me talk Crocs.
Hell yeah.
From Houston. And like I said, I'm probably going to be doing a little herping the day after that. So if I do see anything cool, I'll definitely write it in.
Nice.
Hell yeah, man. Hopefully you get some luck out there. That would be awesome.
Yeah. And is it all right if I, again, shamelessly plug my podcast?
Yeah, of course. That was definitely going to be the last thing. Where can people find you, talk to you, listen to you? I know you got a couple podcasts.
Yeah. So where you can find me, my personal Instagram is n.j.truax. But I do also have the podcast's official Instagram page is Croccast, CROCKAST _podcast. So that's where I announce like new episodes and stuff like that. And like I said, I have the Croccast podcast, which I've been doing for a couple years, which is more like a pre-recorded sit-down interview with people. I got at least one really cool guy lined up for the near future. And then a few months ago, like 8 months ago, I started Reptile Ramblings with Brian, which we try to live stream that one. And we don't have a routine schedule set up yet, but we usually announce it on the Instagram page the day before. So we do live chat, all that stuff there, all fun games there. So
awesome.
Check it out.
Yeah, definitely check out both podcasts that Nate does and all the cool stuff he's doing. He's been doing Croccast for a while. I know we've had Nate on THP before as well, so definitely check
We
that
also
out.
got technical problems that time as well,
Yeah.
on my end at least. But
Cool. Well, Nate, this is kind of when we jump into some write-ins. You're welcome to stay for them and give us some comments on these. But if you
only
got
if I'm allowed
to
to
go,
make dirty jokes.
what's that?
Only if I'm allowed to make dirty jokes.
Of course, this is.
Oh, it's always allowed.
Yeah, our podcasts are listed as explicit for a reason. Um,
Oh,
I
look
bet.
at that beefy thing.
yeah. So first and foremost, we're going to start with a new writer, and this isn't his first one, but his last one was the last episode, and he's been absolutely destroying it. That is Mr. Taven Wright. On Instagram, he is lizards and shit. So lizards.n.sht. Check him out on Instagram. He's been killing it with the herps lately.
Is that a pale milk?
We're gonna get into that. You're jumping the gun.
I'm
here,
sorry.
man.
I'm sorry.
All right, so why don't you shut the fuck up and listen?
So,
He said, went on a trip with the Kansas Herp Society for a field survey in Anderson County, Kansas, and got some more stuff this weekend. Not all of these were flipped by me, and I don't know the exact numbers, but as a group, we got some cool stuff. Yellow belly racers, ornate box turtles, 5-line skinks, Great Plains skinks, collared lizards, 6-line race runner, ringnecks, worm snakes, flat-headed snakes, copperheads, a gopher snake that had some funky business going on, a Mongo western rat snake, speckled king snakes, western milk snakes. So I'm guessing that's what that was.
Okay.
A rough scaled green snake, road cruise 2 honking snapping turtles, the first sighting of a coal skink in the county since the early 1900s. Little brown skinks, American toads, smallmouth toads, diamondback water snake, flipped a fucking skunk. That's odd. Prairie king snake, an egg cluster of some sort, a baby slider, and I think that's it, but I might be missing some. All in all, it was an awesome weekend. Unfortunately, my phone died about an hour or so in, so I wasn't able to take pics of all of them.
dude, fucking killed it.
Killed it, man.
Dude, that collar. Imagine that lizard latching on you.
Yeah, thankfully he's got a glove on for a little protection.
Yeah. This thing's got jowls like a freaking bulldog. Oh, look at a little worm. I think that's a worm snake. The king snakes he finds are killing me, man.
Oh,
yes.
God, that's beautiful.
I'm hoping to see some of those in Texas.
Yeah, that would be
Those
awesome.
things are.
I wasn't clicking fast enough. He found some awesome stuff this weekend, man.
Those skinks look cool, man.
And if you're listening on a podcast platform, this is definitely some of the part to where it's worth tuning into the YouTube section of it, so you can see some of the pictures.
Look at that big chunky.
We're talking about. Yeah, it's a beautiful snapper. They killed it on the milks, man.
Dude, those Western milks are gorgeous.
Freaking insane.
There's the worm snake.
Cool. That's the worm.
Yeah. They look so different out there compared to.
They look so much cooler.
Their contrast out there seems to be a lot more than ours here. Like ours are just kind of almost a solid, like pinkish.
This thing looks fucking rough.
Oh,
yeah, that thing looks fucking horrid.
Yeah, I know he's deep in shed, but
he looks like he's deep in dead.
Deep in dead.
That little thing's cool as fuck.
Damn, that thing looks like
Hunchback of Notre Dame looking motherfucker.
Hunchback of Notre Gabe.
No, man. Listen,
I bet you hunch Gabe's back like that.
Just boys being boys.
That thing's cool looking.
Oh, look at the toad.
That's a cool looking snapper, man.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a nice color.
All right. Well, that is everything from Mr. Wright. Thank you again, Taven. That was awesome. Next on our list, we have what was his first name? I think it was Ben from the Wild World of Deming. I'd have to go back into his messages, but he is Wild World of Deming on Instagram. And he says, "There's no place like herping. What up, Three Stooges? Super happy you're back, and the herps in Washington are going wild. I went out to my grandparents' property and found 25 to 30 of these beautiful northern alligator lizards. Only caught 2. It's awesome to see the population booming because about 10 years ago they were nearly impossible to find, and now their population is massive. Love to all the herpers out there, and especially love to Sky."
Aw, honestly, alligator lizards are one of my favorite lizards in North America. So love the write in, and glad you were able to get hands and pics of a couple of them. I forgot to submit a couple things for this show that my brother wanted me to submit for the pod over in California, but he was able to rescue an alligator lizard out of his neighbor's apartment on the first floor, and then him and his buddy were out on a bike ride, and they got a couple gophers and kings. So I'll make sure to send those over for the next pod. But go team alligator lizard, baby.
Yeah, I love me some alligator lizards, man. What Connor Wardle is doing with keeping them is awesome.
We're like, I think we fully in North America just brush them off and put them on the back burner, and we don't realize that we have North American abronia.
Yeah, these are one of the most incredible lizards.
They're so smart, so advanced, so cool looking, and we literally throw them in a fucking back burner. It's like,
because they're brown instead of bright green or bright blue.
Not brown though. They're not.
Oh, I know, but that's awesome.
I mean, they are, but they're not.
Yeah.
Oh, America has a long history of not caring for things that are brown.
All right, man. Get the fuck off this podcast.
Well, I gotta go make an edit now. Wonderful. Next on our list is Mr. Ben Bailey from Rural.Reptiles 2. What's up, lads? Got a couple belters for you. Out with the little one on a coastal walk to check some of my felts, and we found 2 female adders, a bunch of slow worms, and a couple common lizards. Also on the farm, the grass snakes are appearing more, and I found a couple under 110 a few days back. On the last pod, you was saying about where I am and about the felts. So just to clear it up, yeah, I'm in Pembrokeshire, which is the county I'm in, and it's on the west coast of Wales in the UK. Pembrokeshire is pretty renowned for its coastal areas and wildlife. The felts are actually like rolls of roofing material that you would use on garden sheds. Not sure if you have similar over there, but I cut them into squares and then they roll up easier to go in a rucksack.
It looks almost like the shingles, like the tar shingles we have here.
Yeah. So they roll up easier into a rucksack so I can hike out to places and put them down. Anyway, here's a few pictures.
I love how the slow worm and the adder are literally just like chilling right next to each other in that pic, like 2 pics back. But that adder that he saw, that one right there. That adder right there, dude, the yellow contrast and then the light pale head with that bright ass fucking eye.
Yeah, dude, the eyes are insane.
Stunning.
Honestly, the only reason to ever go to the British Isles would be for the adders.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I can't. I got 2 buddies over there, Paul and Aiden, that I need to get over and go herping with and see the adder spots they got because they slay them. That's a cool looking little freaking. Those are the slow worms, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, I would think so. That's a grass snake.
Nice
I
matrix.
believe he said one of the grass snakes actually regurgitated an adult toad too. Not great for the snake, but always interesting to see what they're feeding on.
Yeah, no kidding. I've always thought those are pretty cool looking snakes. I feel like they're a fucking King Kong decays mixed with like I don't know, garter or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they're cool, man. Oh, there's two of them there. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Ben, and you've been pretty active with writing Indus, so thank you very much, of course,
Thank you, man.
as always.
Sick pics.
And of course, Rob Christian is next. He's always got some heat. This one was cool. It's a video. He doesn't have much to say on it. I don't know if you guys can hear this video at all, but look at this freaking black rat he found.
Ooh, that's a unit.
I wrote him back on his story, and he sent me a couple of the pictures and videos, and he said that was obviously at work, and he was spraying around the barn where clearly that rat snake has been living and eating every bit of anything that crawls into the barn. And he said he was taking those pics and videos really quick before the owners and the homeowners saw him, and then he let it go.
That's
Rob, man. Any chance he gets, he's gonna go and love on the freaking critters for a second, and then make sure they get off to safety.
That's a freaking beef bus if I've ever seen one.
If you know beef buses, then that's
and here's some other pictures he sent a
Look how pretty.
He sent a reel of this snake, so it was actually really cool. You have to go to his page, check it out, because pulling up Instagram is going to be a pain in the butt on here. But this water snake he found, he was taking the video, and this water snake was very obviously striking at him there. But then he came down, he got low, he came down and very slowly approached the snake, and he was actually able to just like come underneath it, give it a little bit of he came up very close, and he let the snake investigate, smell his hand. He didn't just go in for a grab, and he sat there for a second while the snake kind of checked him out and such. And he was able to actually put his hand underneath the snake and just like very gently pick it up. And the snake just, based on the video and how it looked, the snake did not mind. It wasn't threatened by Rob after he gave it that second to check him out and all that. And it was a really cool video. Like I severely enjoyed it. So I would absolutely recommend checking that out. Gabe, is that a snapping turtle?
It's a fucking rhino iguana.
Dead snapping turtle.
Oh shit!
That's a snapping turtle.
Also, snapping turtle.
Is that a rhino iguana?
Shut up.
No, on Nate's fucking camera.
Snap!
On Nate's camera? Oh, what the fuck?
I'm just
Jesus.
We always knew you were really a lizard person.
my people is Lizard King.
Hi, bud.
Is that a rhino iguana?
Yeah, it's my little Seclura. Named Ulysses.
Nice. Those are some of the coolest iguanas, man.
Yeah.
That's a snapping turtle.
A snap.
Yeah.
Zombified fucking
yeah.
That's a cool photo.
Yeah, it is. It's very interesting how it's all still together.
Right.
That might be a fossil one day.
I would hope so.
Gabe's gonna go back and put it together. That thing is so pretty, man.
Yeah,
dude, that is gorgeous.
Like
I always say, like, I would never keep Nerodia. Then I see stuff like that, and I'm like, that's
so
pretty.
The more I keep the Nerodia, the more I realize I just want to have like single individuals and not like breed them. Like I really, really enjoy keeping them, but I really enjoy keeping the ones that like eat and thrive and do well. So like I like having singles, but I don't think I have any more desire to actually reproduce them.
That thing is beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's gorgeous. Here's a good one for Jack.
Is that a painted turtle in the back?
It looks like one. He's got a video
Oh.
here.
Yeah, painted in a musk or a mud?
A little musk. Nice.
Little Tea Tinies. Looks like he's holding Gabe's nuts.
Hey man, those look pretty big to me.
Those are massive turtles. Don't let anybody tell you differently.
That's right.
Thank you very much, Rob, for always coming in with some good stuff, and keep up the good work on just slowly coming up to animals and showing people that they don't just want to kill you.
Yeah, you're always firing the people to do it right and not just grab.
For sure. Next up, we have Chris from Reptiles and Oddities. He's just got this one picture of a big old rat snake. He says, got a call about a copperhead turned
It sounds
down.
like you're giving feedback off your mic. I can't tell.
I think that that's not me, because I also hear it.
Okay.
It's one of y'all. That's okay though. Chris says, got a call about a copperhead. Turned out it was this female Texas rat. She was stuck to a glue trap, but with a little help of cooking oil, the glue trap came off. And now, a quarter of a mile away, I released her back to the wild. She was 5 foot 3 inches. I used the string technique. Chris also sent in a turtle he found, but that was after the fact that I had already saved all of these, so I did not include those, but we will make sure those get shown next week. Thank you very much,
old
Chris.
Pretty rat thing. You can see all the nice color on that thing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful Texas. Next we have Mr. John Calloway, bit of a local friend of ours. This was his first write-in. And he did a little backyard herping recently. We've gotten a lot of rain here the last couple of days, so the amphibians have been full force. That's a gray tree frog, right?
Looks like it.
He says some nice backyard herping tonight after the rains. Counted at least 7 different species of frog calling. Wonderful.
Oh, look at him.
Love me some frogs, man.
Yeah, you like to step on them too.
Dude, we haven't. Oh, my God.
Oh, no, you know what? People don't forget.
I hate you. I hate you because I still hate myself over that. So I don't get it.
Whoa.
Moving along, this absolute hater is from Nipper Reed. He messaged me on Facebook, even though I told everybody to write into the Instagram page. I make an exception for Nipper because he is a god among men. He says, hey mate, really enjoyed Flippin Tin being back. I managed to herp for some very rare UK lizards and snakes. 3-hour drive, but these have the same protection level as Pricey Eye does, and I got to help on a survey, so I was licensed. So just to clear it up. This was he said make, but I'm assuming male sand lizard Lacerda agilis.
That thing looks so sick.
And then this is a female sand lizard.
That's beautiful. They're so cool looking.
Yeah, those are gorgeous.
Lacertids are just super, super cool.
Yeah.
I'm with the shits.
And then this is a smooth snake. Not even going to try and pronounce that scientific name. And then this is the natterjack toad.
Look at how cool that thing looks crawling along.
I love toads so much.
That thing is a boofus little fucking warrior.
Yeah. Gorgeous animal. And then another female sand lizard.
Super pretty pattern.
He goes on to say, I'm off to Naxos in Greece tomorrow, hopefully for my final Euro species. You will be the first to know.
He finished it. He fucking made the post.
I was getting there. You
Sorry.
and Gabe jumping the fucking gun.
We're fucking excited, okay? God damn
well,
it.
I'm building the anticipation.
Okay, well,
He also told me to, based on the last episode, he told me to never do a British accent again. And I told him I was pretty sure that was Sky because I don't do British accents on the show. So
I'll tell you what, Governor, if he's offended by a British accent, he probably shouldn't listen to the show at all. What?
No more accents. And this was his final Euro herp, I believe. His final European species. I honestly don't know what it is.
It's a green something.
A green something. He said, and that is it, mate. Europe is done. I will send a trip report for the show with decent pictures, but wanted y'all to know. So I assume better pictures will come in. Unfortunately, he did not identify this for me, and I
hold on. He said, "This is the the Cyclades green lizard."
I believe it's pronounced Cyclades.
Let's go with what he said.
Yeah, that sounds more scientific.
That sounds way more scientific. I'm gonna go with
I know there's Cyclades Islands in the Aegean, so that might be what Naxos is a part of.
That's 100% it.
Yeah. Well, and with that, Nipper has officially finished his European herp list. So round of applause for our boy Nipper. I mean, just a god among men.
We ought to send Nipper some Flippin Tin gear for that shit.
We do. We
need to.
Yeah, Nipper.
We're gonna make him a Europe.
I came on this podcast.
We'll all get like a little silhouette nude of ourselves, and we'll put it.
Yeah, and if you haven't checked out Nipper's episode of Flippin' Tin, you should absolutely do that because that was an awesome episode. He was one of our early guests. Definitely listen to it when you have a little bit of time because that podcast pushed about 3 hours. But it was so worth it.
Touched anything,
dude. We have to get him on for a round 2. So now that he's actually finished with the
we said we were. We said we'd get him back on when he was done.
He's officially finished with Europe. So now that he's done, we'll get him back on.
We're calling you out, Nipper. Hit us up when you're ready.
Yeah, for a part 2.
Come on, Nipper. I missed the first one. I need some Nipper time.
Yeah, we need to do one with Gabe.
I'll get 4-pack of energy drinks. We'll run it back for a record 4-hour show.
Gabe's trying to latch onto that Nipper.
That's right.
And last but not least, our current guest with us tonight, Mr. Nate Truax, wrote in to us for his last full day in Costa Rica. So, Nate, I don't care if you wrote this in. You get to shut the fuck up and listen.
Didn't do that bad.
Yep. He says, on my last full day in Costa Rica, we went to the, how do you pronounce that? Cahuita?
Cahuita.
Cahuita. Again, that's not how I would have said that. On my last full day.
Looking at.
Yeah. On my last full day in Costa Rica, we went to the Cahuita region on the Caribbean coast near the Panamanian border. We went to this one small waterfall that was at the bottom of a half kilometer long hill to find some strawberry dart frogs.
It's a strawberry.
After that, we started hiking up the hill when Jeremy spotted this juvenile fertile ants right next to the trail. That's beautiful. It was kind of concerning because we saw other visitors hiking back up the trail and some of them barefoot. Nate, you actually mentioned that. Some of these pictures are from what we spoke about tonight, but no write-ins get skipped. So that's where we are. But we also saw this male yellow-headed gecko on the side of a tree. Then we went to this one preserve where they radio track Bushmasters, only to find out when we got there that they no longer radio track Bushmasters. But we decided to still hike the trail that night because you never know what you can find. Starting with this brilliant forest frog. Then some sort of a knoll. I don't know. I don't give a fuck. I am reading verbatim. Then we got
that definitely wasn't you. No.
Then we got lucky with finding one of the hardest to spot snakes in the neotropics, the false tree coral. And Nate spoke about this previously during the show. Jeremy, in particular, was excited about finding this species. You said this was his lifer, right?
Yep.
Awesome. We continued hiking around and found this copse / short-snouted vine snake. And these were some pictures that we also looked over with Nate and his cute little selfie with it. Then we went down along a creek and found quite a few of these dwarf glass frogs. Beautiful. And then we got to see one of the most iconic yellow eyelash tree vipers. Gabe, keep your boner away, please.
I gotta say,
no one wants to see how little DKs you have down there.
That's one of the venomous snakes that I wouldn't mind seeing, because they just come in so many different natural phenotypes. I think they're just
really I think I saw like 4, maybe 5 different phenotypes down there.
They're one of my favorite arboreal vipers.
For sure.
In all honesty, if I was to ever keep venomous, they are probably top of the list of the type of venomous I would ever keep.
Oh, they're great.
Yeah, no doubt. And then at the very end of the trail, we all thought we were done. The German couple who tagged along spotted this big boa constrictor just off the side of the trail. And again, this was one we talked about previously. I don't think that picture was in there. That's a cool picture. He's got a
really cool picture.
Got a little mustache. That's awesome, man. Love that.
He's a distinguished gentleman.
Very distinguished.
The next day, we went to San Jose and checked out this secret place that is good for 2-line vipers. But it was raining so hard that the trail was too dangerous to hike. So we called it a night and went to the airport the next day. That was my Costa Rica trip. And that's for King Baboon's enjoyment.
Nice.
AKA Jason Keller. Go fuck yourself.
Big ol' fuck you, Keller.
Well, that completes our write-ins. Thank you, everybody that keeps them coming in. We certainly appreciate it. There were some we didn't get to tonight. John sent more after so it's very annoying, like not annoying that people send them, but after I save everything, if I get more afterwards, like when I type a response like thank you, and then sometimes I'll get more, then it's very hard to sort them, and my computer likes to tell me to go fuck myself. So a lot now I'm kind of like, if you send some right after send more right after I message you, then they'll probably wait. So we have more from Mr. John Calloway, more from Chris from Reptiles and Oddities, and I was going to include some from Mr. Rob Stone with High Plains Herp. They had an awesome trip out to Florida recently, but I asked him to make sure it was okay to share it, but he didn't message me until an hour ago saying it was okay, so I didn't want to share anything that he did not want shared. So those will be on next time for sure. So thank you, everybody.
I'll also probably share my 2020 Utah herping trip photos as well. So
yeah, absolutely. So thank you, everybody that's kept them coming week to week. Thank you, Nate, specifically for keeping us updated on your Costa Rica trip. Glad we were able to recap that with you tonight in person. This has been a great episode, and I certainly hope everybody kind of learned something about, if, because I know, like, I want to talk about this because Costa Rica is one of the most popular herping destinations for, people in the U.S. So we thought it would be good to kind of hop on and talk to you about that. And obviously Colombia is an awesome trip as well. So glad we were able to talk about that, and hopefully some people learned, if they're trying to plan a trip of their own, learned a little something of how to plan it, man.
Yeah, and me and Brian both would love it if you guys decide to have a crossover with us, have a little Flippin' Ramblings crossover if you guys ever want to do that.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, we can definitely talk about that in the near future for sure. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, any closing remarks from any of the fellas?
Get out and
Stay
flip some
hydrated.
fucking tin.
Go find snakes. Get out there. Do
Get out and herp, and then when you do, let us know what you find.
Go find a D case. They're super easy.
Hey, eat your heart out.
It's all lies. They don't exist.
No, they're
What's
not
the
real.
DKs?
Right. Well, thank you everybody that tuned in for the live, and thank you everybody who listens to this when it gets posted. We appreciate all the support that we've gotten over the little over a year we've been doing this. Kind of hard to believe we're 27 episodes in. Last year, this was just a pipe dream that me and Sky had, and we're making it happen now, and we're doing good things. So thank you everybody for listening, and thank you, Nate, for joining us tonight. And I hope everybody has a wonderful day, morning, night, whenever you're listening to this. And with that, we will bid you adieu.
Thank you.
Good night.